What is up, Pitt fans? Welcome to another edition of the PG Pitt Show brought to you by FanDuel. I'm Stephen Thompson. That's Abby Schnabel. We cover Pitt athletics for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. And we just watched what amounted to a pretty, I would say, disappointing Sunday, at least in the minds of most Pitt fans. Uh, Part of it's extremely justified. You lose a basketball game to Hofstra as the University of Pittsburgh, and no one's going to be happy. But Pitt also got a bowl game announcement that it didn't seem like many Pitt fans were too excited about.
Yeah, I kind of knew coming in that the Hofstra game was going to be a little rough. I mean, Hofstra is a better team than Quinnipiac, and they already lost to Quinnipiac. I was hoping that, Brandon Cummings was able to shake off the dust and pull this team together, and Brandon Cummings was able to shake off the dust, but the team wasn't able to come together. And then, as far as the bowl game, I think I had an idea of where I thought that they were going to go coming in, and then I was just completely wrong. And I wonder how much of that had to do with, Notre Dame's decision and the shakeups with the ACC championship game and just everything across the board there. Probably didn't help Pitt's favor, but yeah, I mean, not a lot of exciting things to think about on Sunday when it comes to Pitt sports, unless you're already looking ahead to volleyball, which, like, at the same time, football and basketball, like, we should have exciting things to talk about at this point in the year, and it's unfortunate that we don't.
Yeah, I want to lead with the bowl game because, like you said, Notre Dame's decision. Well, first of all, Notre Dame being left out of the college football playoff certainly did shake things up and was one of the reasons why it took so long for us even to get an announcement for all these ACC teams. But then their decision to, after that, opt out of a bowl game altogether did shake things up. It kind of rearranged or shuffled the tiers of bowl games that Pitt could have been in play for. And I think certainly, like, if Duke had lost in the ACC championship game, like, they probably aren't getting as good a bowl game as maybe they had hoped as a 7-6 team going into the postseason. And you have an 8-4 team in Pitt who might have been able to move up the ladder a little bit if that had been the case. But instead, the Panthers are headed to the Military Bowl. Scheduled for December 27th at 11 a.m. in Annapolis, Maryland. They'll play East Carolina, a place that Pitt is familiar with. Pitt has played there before. It was actually Pat Narduzzi's first bowl game. And they lost to a pretty good Navy team in that game. So I don't think Pitt fans have very positive memories of Annapolis. But look, there was a notion going around after it was announced, and you can look underneath, the replies to the Pitt football Twitter announcement that they are going to go to the Military Bowl. And there were a bunch of fans who said that they should decline the invitation and they shouldn't have played in this game, which I have to say is patently ridiculous. I don't think I don't think universally, everyone has to play in a bowl game. I'm not one of these purists who's like, oh, it's going to destroy the sport if, for example, Kansas State or Iowa State, who are breaking in new coaches, if they decide that they didn't want to play in a bowl game and it's more worth it to kind of go about the roster construction facet of their offseason. For a team like Pitt, it makes absolutely no sense to turn down this game. Let's start with the fact that it is a drivable game for Pitt fans, for most Pitt fans, if you're living in Western Pennsylvania. It's in a nice town. Annapolis is a nice place to go to. I get it's not ideal 2 days after Christmas, but you can reasonably do a day trip out to Annapolis for this game, even with the early start. And then also you're sitting on 8 wins right now, and Pitt football has won more than 8 games twice during Pat Narduzzi's tenure. I really don't think they are in any position to turn down a chance to, first of all, practice a bunch more and get to those 9 wins. I get it. East Carolina is not the flashiest opponent in the world, but if it gets to 9 wins, if they're back on the edge, I think there would be a slight chance that they could get ranked again, depending on how the rest of bowl season shakes out. But there's really no reason, even if you thought that Pitt should have gotten a better draw, that they should have even dreamed of declining an invitation to this game.
No, there's just so many positives to playing a bowl game for this specific group. Maybe I can see the point if you have just a group of a bunch of senior guys who are either graduating or graduating, or you're expecting a lot of people to transfer. But I don't think that's the case with Pitt. And granted, we don't have confirmation. We don't know who's going into the portal yet. But if I had to guess, this is a team that's going to return a majority of the starters that can come back. And I think getting these young guys like Mason Heintschel, like Boosie Turner, like Shawn Lee Jr., Shadarian Harrison, go down the list. All of those guys can always use more reps. Like it's just another opportunity to, build confidence, get that ninth win, like you said, but also, we can start to see, okay, here's the guys we have coming up even after that. Cause those are guys played all season, the ones that I mentioned, but there's more freshmen kind of waiting in the wings that will be able to, get some decent playing time, whether it's, to rest someone, like maybe you rest Kenny Johnson. I want Kenny Johnson to play, for the record. But for example, like you rest a senior wide receiver or older wide receiver to play, like a Bryce Yates or Tony Kinsler, just to get them more reps. Because at this point, we saw what this team was able to do, switching over with a quarterback, late or in mid-season. Why not keep building off of that? Like, let's just keep getting the game experience, because as much as coaches say you can replicate that in practice, you can't replicate that in practice. And so go out there, get more reps, get reps to the guys who didn't see the field as much. Let Mason Heintschel continue to build up this season that he's had that, ended on a little bit of a sour note in the regular season, but he has been a really standout quarterback. I just see nothing but positives. Like, yes, I would have wanted to see them in a bigger bowl game. We talked about that last week. We wanted a power conference opponent, but I don't see any harm, any negatives in doing this, even if you want to say it's a slight, which, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Dude, I think that they probably should have gotten a better bowl game. Yeah. But at the same time, a potential win and more experience never hurt anyone.
Yeah, and look, like the reality is that Pitt is an 8-4 football team. Like that only gets you so far. Like that win over Georgia Tech, as nice as it was, really only got you so far. The lasting image of this Pitt team in a lot of people's minds is the team that lost to Notre Dame and the team that lost to Miami by 3 scores apiece. So you can't really get too picky, especially when you've got an 8-win ACC champion in Duke who kind of screwed things, who threw a wrench into maybe what your plans were. You've got Wake Forest, who I think people didn't realize won 8 games this year as well. Like it was crowded at the top in the ACC, and the fact that they only got one team into the playoff field changes things as well. So I get it. It's not the flashiest bowl game that Pitt's ever played in, but it's a fine landing spot, and Pitt can make really good use of that time. And yeah, I think Mason Heintschel is the one that I think of first. Like get him on the field for as many pass plays, as many reps as possible. And ECU is not a terrible team, so he's going to get challenged. He's going to get tested a little bit, and that's a good thing for him. Boosie Turner, another guy that certainly more reps will help him out. If it's a situation where Jeff Percy, opts out at left tackle, if he wants to go pursue an NFL future, then that's totally fine. Like get some more of these offensive line pieces into the game and see what you have there. Can Josh Guerrier get some reps on the field and maybe show you what he can do at safety, and so how to approach that situation, since Javon McIntyre, Kavir, Bains are going to be moving on. So yeah, just like so many guys who these reps, like, and linebacker as well. Like, can Cam Lindsey, get some reps there? Can he show you that he's a starting level player? He's done that once during the regular season, but putting some more film and getting him some more reps out there isn't a bad idea either. If and only if Kyle Lewis and Rasheem Biles choose to make decisions about their NFL futures, which Pitt would love to have them play another game. But it's not the worst thing in the world if you end up getting some young guys into this game. And the notion that Pitt should act like they are above this game is just really silly to me. I don't think that's – I don't suspect that's something that they entertain, but I think fans need to understand that, like, this is a really valuable experience for Pitt football in general.
Yeah, and it's maybe all the talk about they should have declined stems from the fact that Notre Dame declined their game. I don't even think Notre Dame is too big to
right.
You pass up on a bowl game. Like it's honestly a worse look, in my opinion, to pass up on a bowl game when it's just another opportunity to not only get your guys on the field, but to put your program out there. Like, I know the Military Bowl isn't like, the biggest bowl game in the country or even close. But again, it's an opportunity to play. And as Pat Narduzzi said, says these guys are football players. They want to be on the field. Why not get another opportunity on the field one last time, show what this 2025 team was made of, or, just start previewing this 2026 team that has a really good shot of, building off of this fairly successful season and carrying it and hopefully even being better next year.
Right. And I think that's the big thing, the building for 2026. Like, I think it does help you when you play these games to know, all right, where are our holes? Like what do we look like after certain guys transfer or opt out or go to the NFL? What do we need to do? How do we need to address these positions moving forward? That's an invaluable piece of evaluation for a coaching staff as well. But we spent enough time talking about, the hypothetical of should they have declined the bowl game or not. I still think it's a fine landing spot. I think it's going to be a fun game. I think a real good chance for Pitt to get a win. And if you're going down to Annapolis, I know it's a nice town. So I think if you're going down, you should be able to enjoy a nice couple days in Annapolis, Maryland.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.